First of all, thank you for inviting me for this show. I'm really honored. So, I'm the founder of Sujata Against All Odds Private Limited, which I'm happy to share because my book, which I wrote with the same title, has now become my brand. It has become my logo and it has become my business name, which includes a lot of volunteering and outreach programs, which I do with different organizations. That is one. So, my journey, which is all captured in the book, by the way, except for being murdered, I've covered it all. So, all the trauma, the tragedy, and the personal, hardships that happens to all of us because life happens, right? And
Yes.
I've covered it all. I've gone through those challenges and I have overcome it. So by overcoming it, I now pay forward my wisdom to everybody. That's why I say I'm a global citizen. I say that I'm everybody's 2 a.m., 4 a.m. friend. And that's how I operate. And why I resonate, like, for example, whether it is fighting for justice when my daughter got raped, or it is fighting in workplace harassment, or it is dealing with the trauma and tragedy of many sorts, all those things have made me to realize that I need to pay forward, the wisdom. And
Mhm.
the UN's mission to foster global equity and justice resonates with me. And that's why I wanted to go to the United Nations, the meeting which happened in CSW. And I'm happy to say that I got a pass which allowed me to enter. And it's a very profound moment because you have people from all over the globe who have a chance to speak. And that is why I decided that this is where I need to go and need to be heard. So this time I was as an observer, but I do wish to go back there and talk, because there's a lot of things which happen in our society which needs voices to be heard from ground level.
So now could you tell us about one project or actions you've been involved in that you are most proud of?
So, like I just now mentioned, it takes the power of one. Okay. It's about intent and it's about action. So, if you have the intent and you put it to action, that is the first step. We need to remind ourselves, to train ourselves to do what is right based on principles. And that is what I have been doing. So, against all odds, which is what I do, is I had no one. When I started my career, I had no one. When I fought through workplace harassment, I again had to rely on my own. It's not that you always have somebody who you can, but I have to say in BPW, I have had the fortune of being fortunate because I've had several empowering leaders who have shown, demonstrated by action, that they are there to walk the talk. That is very important. And I befriend the homeless. I befriend inmates who are rehabilitating into society. I'm a mentor from age. My youngest mentee is 15 years old, and my oldest mentee is 70 years old. And I have all kinds of people who I befriend. For example, recently I was helping two suicidal people
Mhm.
across the globe. One was across the globe, so I sat up on Zoom whole night, holding space with the person, so that by morning they had changed their mind. And there was one in locally here where I, befriended the person, and it helped. So whole night I was awake on WhatsApp dealing with this thing. So it needs just one person. When you have no one, you need that one person, right? And so for me, because of my diverse background, where I've been a journalist, I've been a sales and marketing in computers, anti-counterfeiting, having my own retail outlet, and all the challenges that I faced, I I help people in their personal growth, personal development, in their journey of building resilience. And that is what I do. So even though I am one, I do happen to impact many lives. And for me, that is the most humbling, moment of my life where I can make one difference to one person is good enough, right? And that is what
Yeah.
keeps me going forward.
Wow. So that's really remarkable. Every meaningful journey comes with challenges. Person is that your biggest challenge you
My
faced?
biggest challenge was, when I faced societal stigma, I faced ostracization. When my daughter got raped, nobody came forward. It was all random strangers who I call human angels who came and supported me. But fighting a court system for 6 years, where you go to court for every single hearing, is not easy, you know.
Mm.
And I used to wear adult diapers because I used to suffer from stool incontinence. So just imagine what I would have gone through. It takes a lot to do this, and that's why people who go through sexual assault actually never, most of them don't report, and most of them don't take action. But they live with that trauma and grief, which is like a festering wound. There is no closure, right? So you will live with it all your life because there is no closure. There's no justice for you. How do you deal with that? It's easy for the world to go to sleep, but ask the survivor, or ask that family who has been subjected to, how they live their lives,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
it's not that you just go to therapists and psychiatrists. That is not a cure all or end all. For true closure, when anything bad happens, you need a closure. And that closure can only come in the form of some amount of justice, or some amount of, where you are able to close and move on. You can't just tell people, oh, it's over, now you move on,
I
right?
see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of my this thing biggest challenge, but yeah, I overcame that. And that's why I put it forward in my book and in all that I do.
So looking at today a world from your perspective, what is the most urgent issue in this area that we should be addressing right now?
So, what we need to address right now is we have lots of NGOs, right? And we have lots of people trying to do the good things and trying to make an impact in our society, to change things, mindsets, processes, everything, right? But it all starts with each of us. Each of us need to walk the talk. That is the most important thing. If we don't do and set an example, we are not going to inspire or bring meaningful change, because meaningful change is when it goes beyond theory. It's like always, if somebody is looking at you, do they feel inspired? Do they know that there is a real life case study, which they know that so and so person went through this, and we can also have the courage to stand up and face whatever goes through. That can only come when we have inspirational role models, you know and that is important. So if you ask me, each one of us has to look within and has to walk the extra mile, because only when you will do things by an example, lead by example, then you will make a difference. It's like oceans are created by a drop in the ocean. You heard that saying. So every bit counts, every person matters. And there's so much of suffering out there, all kinds of things which happen, which we need to look at. And wherever, and you don't even have to go outside of in your own community, in your own this thing, say for in your own family, there might be somebody who's going through depression, through panic attacks, right? Or who's lonely, or who is going through a challenge where they don't are not able to have a job, or are not able to survive. What do they do for daily living and all that? You just look around, somebody, some friend, some person in your family would be going through. Why can't we help them? We start, no, charity begins at home. So if you start from your own ground, you will be then going outside. But if you don't do it within, how are you going to go outside? Tell me. It's easy for
Mhm.
everybody to talk. but where is the action? We talk of kindness, but are we truly kind? Just look in your own life, you will find whatever I'm saying, you will think, okay, this incident, that part, because we all go through it. The only thing is we don't speak out. We need to speak out. That's why I
Yes.
even have a podcast where I invite people to share their life journeys, whatever, however bad it is, which you have never told anybody, you come and share in my podcast. So
Mm-hmm.
I give you the safe space. Nobody's seeing, but people can hear you later, right?
Yes.
Somebody out
Exactly.
there you will have impacted just by sharing your story.
Wow, that's such a powerful insight. Great.
So
If you
when
could
I
send,
when I went to UN this time, I did a parallel event talk with some of the BPW people, right? And I
mm,
carried the voices of real life people in my talk on education and empowerment for women. Because those people cannot go to the UN, right? But if I go, I can carry their voices, I can carry real life examples. That's what I.
if you could send one message to the global community to take actions today, what would that message for?
That
What would that message be?
that message would be that there is a lot to do and we all need to step up. We just don't need to say show up, step up, stand up. We actually need to practice it. So look around first in your own community and help someone to elevate or to better their life. Then we can't do, all of us do a lot of great things, right? But we can always do small things, and the small things matter a lot, because the one person you can, even on a daily basis, if you can make one person smile and not cry, that is good enough, as a starting point. So if one person you can impact and help them in whichever manner, for for them, you might be the only person out there to help. So we must remember that you may be the only person to help or to heal them or make them go through the journey. They may really not, and you might just come into the orbit. And that is what I think the purpose of humanity should be, irrespective of what religion we follow.
Thank you for sharing such meaningful perspective, Sujata. Before we wrap up, is there one key takeaway you would like to provide to our audience or remember from this conversation?
Yes, the one key takeaway, which is also there in my book, is don't go by what people say and expect. You know why? Today, somebody might say that, oh, you are so good, you are so inspirational, spiritual. Somebody else might have a different opinion and say, oh, you're very bad, you're like this, like that, all kinds of things. Are we supposed to listen and follow or live according to people's expectations? Your actions is the only thing which denotes who you are. You don't have to speak, you just do by actions. And if you do by actions and people recognize your actions, then that is the main thing. Otherwise, you'll end up with split personality disorder, because you'll be following this one today, you'll be following that one today, and you'll be trying to do this and that. Instead, just follow your heart, your conscience. And that is what is the most important thing that I would say as a takeaway, that doesn't matter, be yourself. Be yourself and be true to your conscience, because you go to bed with your conscience, not with anybody else, at least spiritually, emotionally, right? And that is what I'm trying to say, that is the key takeaway I would like people to have.
It's been such a privilege to learn from you truly today, Sujata. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your journey, and your vision for a better future. And thank you to be our audience for joining us in this session, the Speak Out channel. Thank you.
Thank you.